Good morning. Good morning. Hopefully everyone is doing great this Friday, enjoying your Friday. It's Follow Up Friday 53. You know how Facebook sends you memories and stuff like that. And the last couple of weeks have been the memory of the kickoff of Follow Up Friday with Carlos Sabalos. And we started it at Remax Beyond just on a typical Friday, just like, there's some people we need to follow up with, and just decided to go live and start talking about it. And so it's pretty cool now that we are well over a year into doing this weekly Follow Up Friday podcast. And it's pretty cool, pretty exciting to be a part of it. So hopefully you guys are having a great day. Got a great topic to talk a little bit about today. Talking about striking while the iron is hot. And first of all, I wanted to apologize for missing last week. Last week, it was we had a really good one scheduled, and unfortunately, I couldn't answer the bell. So, the tryptophan must have kicked in. I don't even eat meat, but the tryptophan must have kicked in. And boy, Black Friday, I was out. I kind of overslept. So my apologies for that, but we'll get Leon back on and have him come share his expertise with us as he has been doing so eloquently. So today I want to talk a little bit about striking while the iron is hot. I had an opportunity to attend a really good webinar, and the webinar was over contact times and most likely to respond and things of that nature. And those of you who attend and have listened to some of our Follow-Up Fridays, you know that we have a compendium that we hold near and dear to our heart, that everything is revolving around the progression of a sale. How do we get a sale? Well, we talk a lot about that in this podcast. We talk a lot about, but a lot goes into the contact, the initial contact. And so I thought it would be good today to talk a little bit about this webinar we attended that was called Striking While the Iron is Hot. And I'll make this a little bit bigger for those of you who can't see it, but striking while the iron is hot. It's got to do with speed to call, how quickly you follow up on your lead, making sure that you optimize the time when you're calling your leads, and that you're calling them at the appropriate time and getting to them quickly enough. And in this, for those of you who are on Periscope or if you're on Twitter, if you pop over to Periscope, you can see the graphic that we've got on the screen. Hey, good morning, Carlos. How you doing?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
I'm just talking a little bit about. I just started talking a little bit about striking while the iron is hot, optimal time, speed to call, how quickly we get to them, what the optimal timing is. So your timing is perfect. You didn't miss anything. In fact, I was just letting the people know who are following us on Twitter, they can go over to Periscope and they can see the actual StreamYard video as well, because I'm streaming on Twitter, on my phone. I've got StreamYard pushing us out to Facebook and to Periscope. And so, we're live on 3 platforms right now.
Growing our reach.
That's right. That's right. So how you doing? How's your day? I know you were probably doing some following up. So how's your morning been? How's your week been?
It was good. It was good. I had to attend to some clients this morning that I was behind on. I ended my day not finished, so I needed to start my day going. So gotcha. Some days I'm like that. So it's good. It was good. It's how about you?
It's good, man. We it's the end of the week, and it's been a really good and busy week, and so we're getting ready for the holidays and closing deals and all that good stuff. So it's been a good week. Yeah, that's what has to happen. So let's jump into this article. Let's talk a little bit about this article. This is a good webinar I happened to sit on and get some data afterwards that I wanted to share. It's some really good and interesting data that talks about how quickly we follow up and how do we optimize our time. And I started off talking a little bit about, our compendium, right? Our Bible here that we live by. And, obviously that first contact and all those contacts are all about, timing and persistence and consistency. So when I ran into this article, I thought this was interesting. I wanted to share it because it's some really good information, particularly for those of us that get, responded, referrals, or we even buy leads. This is great, right? So this graph here is looking at, can you see this okay, Carlos? It's big enough, right?
Okay, no, cool. Yeah, it's big enough. It's good.
Okay, cool. So this graph here is, let me see if I can, for our guys on Twitter, let me see if I can, there we go. For this graph here, we're looking at when are leads most likely to respond, right? When are they most likely to respond? And the data, is really not saying that, what this is looking at is when the lead themselves actually initiate contact or request for contact, right? So, of course, at 6 a.m., we're probably not going to call people at 6 a.m. So this is when the people themselves had reached out and requested to be contacted, right? Which, of course, the lead will come in at calling hours, right? So, but here's the interesting thing is that people at between 5 a.m. And then you pop over to noon, and then look at that graph rise up for, later calling, later contact calling. 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 26% at 7 p.m., 42%. So this is saying those people that initiate a request for information, if you follow up with them in these timeframes, you have a significantly higher opportunity to convert. That's ridiculous. Look at that, right? That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's a lot. That's 11 o'clock. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been catching myself talking with clients, 8, 9, 10, 10:30. I have a couple clients that I talk to, that some of them, are 11, 12. Some of my conversations go along that, that line. But yeah, it's good. It's a big success out that time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about following up, and when you follow up and how quickly you follow up. Again, this I think is really good for people who buy leads, right? If you buy leads, like, if you're buying realtor.com or LendingTree or whatever, insurance leads, those people who buy leads, this is really, really good data as well for them. You know what I mean? Because it's all about when that person initiates a response.
Yep. Yeah, and the thing is people don't understand is that that's why you need your notifications put on, because when you do get those leads, you got to respond to them. I don't care. If somebody is inquiring at 10 o'clock at night, I'm going to respond. I do it every single time because.
Do you really?
Yep. I don't. Sunday, I had leads come in on Sunday. No, wait. Yeah. And then I had a lead come in on Thanksgiving night. I called it. I attended to it because if they're inquiring on it, they're doing it. They're inquiring on it. They're wanting to find out about it. Granted, they might be thinking, oh, I can do it now and then get some results tomorrow or get some answers tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I respond instantly. I respond to Thanksgiving night.
Well, and I think that's why this data is so compelling, because that's exactly what it's capturing on, is that phenomenon you just mentioned, Carlos. The belief is, oh, well, they're not really interested right now. No, they're thinking about it right now. They're thinking about it right now. So following up right now, the sooner you follow up with them, you catch them in the mindset. They've already accepted, to be ready and be receptive to some conversation about it. And the numbers show that the majority of the people are ready to talk about it right away. So, that's good that you said that, because that's exactly what this phenomenon is, right? It's like, hey, you know what? If the person reaches out on a Saturday, on a Sunday, or an evening, in the morning, on a holiday, hey, there's a high likelihood that they're interested and ready to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, they're you got to respond. That's why those notifications, that's why I know it sounds weird, but I have everything turned on. Everything's notifying me all the time. Those leads, if I could get any kind of lead that possibly could get, I'm going to respond to it instantly because they're wanting to know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you're right, and as a social media contact, you're absolutely right. I mean, I've connected with some people at 1, 2, 3 in the morning, on a notification, just because I happen to be up, and so on the messenger, I just responded back, and we've had some dialogue, and turned into some lead opportunities. So you're absolutely right about that. They're most likely to respond, and they're valuable to follow up as soon as you possibly can. And this graph kind of says that, which is good. So the other thing that was interesting about this study that I thought was pretty interesting, and I think I put this out there a number of times, we talk about calling, business times, right? 8 to 5 or whatever the case may be. But leads received and responded to outside the classic work week were 11% more likely to be converted. That's exactly what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly what, I mean, that's what people don't understand is that they're wanting it, they're needing it, or have questions about it. You got to be there to respond.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's exactly what you said. So it's just about, most people say, well, I work 8 to 5 or 9 to 5. Well, when you're self-employed or you're in a commission position, you don't work 8 to 5 or 9 to 5.
No,
You really don't.
yeah. No,
if you do, you don't do it very effectively. If you do, you don't do it very effectively.
As long as I have service and I have a computer or a phone, I'm working.
Yeah.
I don't care, because that downtime that you're not doing anything, that's where you get your relaxed time when you're self-employed. You got to get what you can get, especially when you're starting out or new or just growing or you're not where you need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely. Absolutely. Cool. All right. Well, let's look at the rest of this. Striking while the iron is hot about converting leads, identifying the best days and times that new leads are most reachable and receptive. The data, again, comes in talking about leads received outside of the time, 11% more likely. Leads received on Saturday, and this is a huge one because you just mentioned a weekend lead that you got potentially on a Sunday or Saturday. 10% better conversion ratio on Saturday or Sunday leads. Boy, why is that not a surprise, Carlos? Why is that not a surprise?
Because when people, it's their downtime. The weekend nights, it's their downtime. It's their time. Okay, I'm not at work from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, and now it's the evening or it's the weekend. It's their downtime to go and shop or do whatever they need to do. They need to look for what they're looking for. If they're shopping for a house or if they're looking for new tires, it's their time to inquire on what they need to inquire on. So, no matter, just because it's Sunday or Saturday, that's why Fridays, I hustle on Fridays like it's Monday. Because, you got to have your time. You got to have your weekends. People call it weekends, but you also got to be flexible with who you're working with, who your people are. If they work during the day, then you got to catch them in the evenings and on weekends. So Saturday and Sunday, you got to treat it like a regular day and have fun doing it. If you have time to do some fun stuff, I could be out at a carnival, and if I get a lead, I'm calling it. I have to, because that's my money. That's my people. That's me developing a new relationship.
I had a realtor call me a number of times. Realtors would call me, but I had one realtor call me and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, in the evening or on the weekend." And I said, "Don't apologize. This is when we get paid. Yeah. This is when we get paid. We get paid after hours, outside of those times, on the weekends." That's what you just said. You said people, it's their downtime. And unfortunately, so many people in our business think that, after 5 o'clock, it's time to shut it down. And well, yeah, you can be average, you can be less than average, but if you want to be a little bit better than average, you're going to have to work past 5 o'clock. And I'm never interrupted after 5 o'clock or on the weekends or even on a holiday. So I laugh when they say, well, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, on your weekend. Or I'm like, well, this is when I get paid. I got to be available when people are ready to buy a house and they need financing. I need to be ready to help them when they're ready, not when I'm ready.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, you got to cater to their needs, and if you're not catering to people's needs and wants, then it's kind of an inconvenient for them. They'll find somebody else to do it.
I had a lady just yesterday text me, and she said, "Hey, I got a question." And I was a little slow. I was doing something, so I responded when I had a chance. And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "There's no need to apologize. We formed our initial relationship the night before. The night before I was going to fly out to Africa at about 9. It would have been 10 o'clock her time, 9 o'clock my time." And I had to get her pre-approved and get her file ready to go because she needed to switch lenders and have the deal saved. It was the night before I was flying out to Africa. It was probably 9 or 10 o'clock. I think I finished up with her about 11:30 my time. And I said, that's how our relationship got started. It got started like that. So don't apologize for reaching out to me, and I've now done, 2 or 3 deals for her. She's referred me to at least 4 or 5 other people, right? All simply because I was willing to take the call and do what had to be done outside of those normal work times.
It's amazing how much people appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, when you could respond to people instantly, even if it's at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, people love that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People appreciate that. I mean, I get calls on Saturday when we're at our store. Now, granted, we're at a retail store and we should be available, but there's some Saturdays. I don't know. It was a couple Saturdays ago. I was at my store and somebody wanted a shirt for 50th birthday. And they're like, can we get this done? And I'm like thinking, typically we're 1 to 3 days out, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get it done for you, if you really need it. And she's like, she couldn't appreciate that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
She was just so appreciative.
Mm-hmm.
And so, weekends, nights, when you bend over backwards for people, just answering your phone calls, just return a phone call, or just helping somebody out on a weekend or a night, or where they think they're inconveniencing you, they appreciate that stuff.
They do.
Long-lasting relationship there.
Let me tell you something. When I used to own a transmission shop, Cotman Transmission, I would always forward the phones to my cell phone on the weekends and after hours. Right. Always. And I would always look forward to snow days and hot days, because after hours and on the weekends, when those events are happening, transmissions are breaking. And I would always get a person who would call, and I'd pick up the phone and I'd go, oh my God, thank you so much for calling. I can't believe you answered your phone. Right? Because I've called, 6 or 7 or 8 transmission shops and everybody's closed. That phone just rings or goes over to an answer machine. And they were like, I can't believe you answered the phone. Thank you so much. And it's like, we're from out of town. Our transmission's broke. Is there any way you can help us? And it's like, yes, that's why I answered this telephone call, right? And that's the thing, it's about availability, being available, whether it's them contacting you or you contacting them, strike them while the iron is hot, man.
Right. You got to get in touch with them. You got to get them, because you're going to help them out, and they're going to be very, very appreciative to what you're doing for them. They love that sort of thing, and you got to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's good stuff, man. It's all about being available. It's outside of the work hours. Again, it's not something that, everybody loves to do, but the reality of the situation is if you want to go to another level, you're going to have to do it. Right. And you have to understand the numbers, and the numbers say converting outside of the normal classic work week is 11% more effective. Saturdays, 10% more effective. Sundays is probably the same. And I when I first got in this business, I lived on the fringe. I worked primarily evenings, and I worked primarily Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings, and always in the afternoon or evenings on Saturday or Sunday or the next day, I always got contacts. I always got responses because I lived working on those fringe hours, right? And I still do it, but that was just how I kind of built up my initial pipeline. Was just working, working some mornings, coming back working evenings, working Saturday mornings, working Sunday mornings, and then calls and leads and responses would come in from there. So it's absolutely imperative to be available to work those fringe hours, because that's when people are responding, and as you said, that's when they're available, right? That's when they're available.
Yep. And that's the thing is like I respect people's. I was kind of surprised that those numbers were so higher so late, obviously because they're home, or they're not busy, and that's why those numbers get so higher. But I mean, I always try to respect people in the evening, but if I haven't been able to get a hold of somebody, I'll call them around that 5, 6, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And because, and you can always ask. That's that magic question. Did I catch you at a good time? Is this a bad time? Do you want me to call back, or can you call me back? You can always ask that. But the thing is you gotta get a hold of them, especially if you're not getting a hold of them on a regular basis.
That's right. Absolutely. We have this option, right? So we have the contact and understanding the progression of it, and then within that, our same article, it's about having a contact plan, having a specific contact strategy and an approach, a follow-up plan where you can vary it, and the same thing with varying the times, like you just said, some different times, call it different times, and then understanding that. I love this. The goal is to stay in front of the prospect in a way that creates value rather than annoyance. It's part of the science, but it's about staying in front of them, right? So sometimes those contact attempts, even if they're after hours or during hours, sometimes it's just a matter of staying in contact, staying in front of them, so that when they're ready, because this data, this research shows 50% are qualified but not ready to buy right away, right? So, so having continually following up and having a follow-up plan and approach during hours, after hours, before hours, weekends, it just keeps us in front of the prospect, right? So when they're ready to buy, we're the one that they're going to come back to, because we know based on the number of contacts, we're going to be in mind share. Right? So we know that, right? So it all kind of works together, right? What a shock, right?
It does.
It all works together.
Those contacts, it all works together. You just got to time it right. You got to know it, and you got to live by it. You got to live by it. You got to know that that's what you have to do, and you got to do it.
Yep. I remember when we had Ramsey on. Ramsey talked about varying his call times and his approaches. And remember, he said, "Hey, I try the morning, around lunchtime, and then in the evening." Right? Those are, and if we go back and we look at the graph, he said the morning, right? So that's probably immediately when they first responded, maybe not have a good opportunity, but it's important to understand that this time frame, like if a person, asks for a reach out sometime around 8, 9, or 10, even though the conversion numbers are low, it's important to understand that part of this is shaking the tree. This is what I would call shaking the tree, because those people will see the email, the voicemail, the text message, and they may actually respond in the evening time. So a lot of times I like to do a lot of my prospecting in the morning. I may not necessarily get an immediate contact with them, but because I've left a voicemail, I've left an email and text, I'm going to get a response later if they're interested, when they have time. And it's probably going to be during this time frame when you just said, when they have time.
Right. And the thing is like they'll let you know too. But that big thing is before, people used to make phone calls and they used to wait. Mm-hmm. Now you can send a text message and hopefully get a response, because that is the fastest response.
That's right.
So there's always ways, if they're not answering text messages, then you really got to start thinking about I need to put them on some kind of call plan
That's
because
right.
you don't have them yet, or they're not responding to your messages. I've had people recently that 98% of text messages are open right away. So those, a lot of that percentages is phone calls, and emails, but you can always text and they'll say, hey, I'll call you after 5, or just ask when is a good time. Or I always put on there, can you call me when you get a chance?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and then, and if they respond to text message, then that's what you got to do. You gotta communicate through text message.
Yeah. Use the medium that they responded to. Right. Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
If they're
you're right.
if they're responding to my messages and they're not answering my phone calls, then obviously it's more convenient for them to do that. And I'm going to respect the phone calls,
Right.
but I'll always text them,
Right.
So, and I always put on there, if you really want to talk to them, and just say, hey, can you call me when you get a chance? Or can you call me real quick?
Yeah. And then, like you said, I've had people, and you have probably too, deals that you closed with 99% of your communications was probably email and text, because that's the only thing they can do, because during the business hours, they probably are at work and in a position where they really couldn't talk, so I've had that, but I think it's important, like you said, the different contact formats, and it's important, oh, well, people don't read emails. Well, people are still reading emails when they have time. Some people will not take my telephone call and 2 minutes later respond to my email. So some people are still reading emails. People are definitely doing text messages. Social media platforms, right? If you've got that ability, if you don't, that's okay. But that's a very interesting right there, because you're getting direct messages. You said sometimes on the weekends or holidays, right? Sometimes they come right through social media platforms.
Yep. Yeah, whatever is convenient for them to get a hold of me, I'm doing it, or whatever's convenient. I'll try all those ways. If I don't get a hold of them, phone call or text message, I'll try them on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So what was I going to? Oh, yeah. So now I don't know if you have Outlook turned on. Outlook for me, I turned on a read receipt. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, but I've turned it on, and I've noticed a lot of emails that have not been turned on or that have not been read, and I noticed the ones that have been read. And there's ways of them to get around them not sending that receipt, but at least I'm knowing how many people are reading my emails or when they read them. I might have sent some emails out, and 3 days later I got a read receipt, so it took them a while to get it. But I've been I turned that on just to see how many people are really reading my emails, or, maybe when they're reading them, but I've been turning it on and monitoring it. I just did it this week. So I'll see how that goes.
I do most of them through through my emails through the CRM, and it does track when they open it. It gives us a notification. Yeah, gives us a notification, lets them know. And sometimes I'll call right off of that. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'll call right off of it, and hey, how you doing? But most of the times I'll just I'll get a response. Most of the times I'll get a response from it, which is great. You know what I mean? So so that works out well. So but good stuff. No, man. So the takeaway really is that responding immediately, again, especially with paid leads or social media leads, like you said, Carlos, responding immediately is imperative and fundamental to really do a successful conversion. Understanding outside the classic work week is vitally important from a conversion standpoint, right? 10, 11%, just looking at after hours and Saturdays. So it's important to understand that, you got to work a little bit of weekends, a little bit of after hours if you really want to take your conversions to another level, because as you mentioned, that's when people are available, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're available. They're there. They're available, and that's really that's a week. It's a weekday too. So
Hmm.
you got the weekends.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So don't be afraid to reach out to people on the weekends. Just because it's a weekend doesn't mean that they can't talk to you.
that's right. That's right. Well, and that's when people are available. That's when they've got some time. And so, a lot of times, I'll try someone when I say who will try me later on this afternoon, this evening. I'll set up a call back. If I don't catch them there, I'll try them again the next day. And then sometimes I'll just push it to the weekend because, I know that they're probably busy. If they're interested, they're going to answer. If not, they'll stay on the follow-up chain. They'll stay on the
Right.
follow-up chain.
And you got to stay in front of them. You got to stay in front of them. You got to develop that relationship. I've had this week, just this since Thanksgiving, I've gotten a lot of new clients, a lot of new leads. And this week, since Thanksgiving, I've noticed a lot of, man, I got to keep staying in front of these people because because my conversion rate was getting a little lower of,
Mhm.
all these leads that I was getting, and I wasn't talking to them enough, you know? And so I'm like, man, I got to stay in front of these people. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here.
Mhm.
Uh, so I just know that I just got to keep in front of these people. That
That's
lead
right.
I got on, that lead I got on Thanksgiving, I've talked to her, I don't know, 10 times maybe.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Yeah. Well, it's the numbers are what they are. I mean, Kristen Herman mentioned, 10 prospects, 3 qualified buyers, one long-term good relationship customer, right? So the numbers are what they are. It's
but
getting there.
I need more.
Yeah, yeah, and I know. Hey, we all need more, right? We all need more, but that's good. I mean, those numbers are consistent, right? They've been looked at over the course of, boy, I mean, years and years of research, right? So those numbers are consistent. 10-3-1, 10-3-1, right? We just got to make sure we reach out to them and get to them as quickly as we possibly can. So,
Yeah.
so good stuff, man. I thought this was good. I wanted to share it because I thought it was really good and certainly relevant to, what we talk about every week. So I thought it was a pretty good article.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's good to know. It's people need to know that. People need to
Yeah,
learn it. People need to get it down in their head that this is true, you know,
yeah,
um, because there's some people that will call the same people all the time, or even an hour difference. They might call them at 9 o'clock, or the next time they might call them at 10. Well, that's not the morning is the morning.
right,
You know,
right.
9,
That's
10,
right.
11 is the morning. Go to the afternoon. Go to
That's
the
right.
evening. One in the morning,
That's
one
right.
in the afternoon, one in the evening.
Yep, yep. Mix it up, and then put them on. Then put them on a weekend hit if you don't get them through the week.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So,
yeah, because if you don't try, if you're done at 5 and you go home, you leave your computer at home, or you leave your work at home, and you're in sales, then you got to amp it up a little bit.
yeah, agreed. Absolutely. Good stuff, man. Well, this is good information. Wanted to share it. I think it's very helpful. Hopefully, if someone needs to understand a little bit better about how to convert, take a look at this and understand that how quickly you follow up, how quickly you get back to them, varying the timing that you're trying them. Those are all very effective means of helping convert leads. So I thought it'd be good to kind of talk this through this week.
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right. Well, I'll let you get back to your follow up Friday. I got some cards that I gathered over the last couple of weeks, and
Ah,
I need to I go through and always leave a card and take a card, and if there's none to take, I still leave. So always leave a card and take a card.
right. That's
All
right.
right.
I got to keep plugging away.
That's right. All right, my man. Well, hey, listen, have a good weekend. See you next week, and I appreciate you always.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
All
Enjoy.
right. Take care.